Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode here on Keys to the Kingdom. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Samuel, and today I've got another powerful message for you warriors amongst men out there. I'm going to be sharing with you 7 rules that if you master them, your purpose-based business will be successful. But first, let me remind you why we do a purpose-based business in the first place. And the reason being is because the world is crumbling. We're going through the planned economic collapse. And right now, the spiritual path is awakening within us. What this means is we are not here to just be ignorant of the darkness on this planet, as many of the honey traps out there will have you believe, like the New Age movement and even, all religions, because all religions are there to bind you to a way of thinking. The only true religion is to bind yourself to the truth. That's literally what the word religion means. It comes from the Latin word relegare, meaning to bind or to hold back, to thwart from forward progress. The only way is to bind yourself to the truth. And the truth is maverick. It's actually always changing. I mean, the truth isn't always changing, but you have to be always changing in order to come into alignment of the truth. And I'm going to share with you 7 rules that's going to help you with that process. But also, you can apply this to your purpose-based business. And the reason why I promote a purpose-based business is not just for the obvious reasons of, because you don't want to exploit people and we want to make the world a better place. And the surface level is because when you go on this path of awakening, you are inevitably going to have to get rid of your attachments to the matrix. And you are going to have to go on your own path. You're going to have to face your fears, and you can't have ties to the matrix in so many ways where you're not willing to let go of them, because you need to follow the truth wherever that leads you. You need to follow your source, your calling, your spiritual path within you. Walk in the spirit and not in the flesh. And this can be difficult, obviously, for obvious reasons. So in order to make it more simple, we need to cut our ties as much as possible with the matrix, and also be willing to let go if we have to, if necessary, because the path leads you to coming face to face with the darkness, right? Because first of all, you have to face your own inner darkness, the devil within, and then you have to face the devil outside of you, and the outside is the inside, so it's all happening at the same time anyway, really. But like I spoke about in my previous videos, and when we spoke about handlers and things, I'm going to do another video on that coming up on my YouTube channel, and we're going to talk about how the demi actually jumps around from person to person, and it's up to you to deal with your own shadows and face the darkness. It's not until we become the authoritative figure once again in our own lives that we banish the demi forever. But what I'm saying is, the reason why we need a purpose-based business is because, you can't have ties to the matrix. You've always got to be willing to change in things, but a purpose-based business is where you're in alignment with the will of the divine plan of the source. Let me repeat that. You're in alignment with the will of the divine plan of the source, and now you are a channel for the new currency to come through. So you don't have to rely on, where am I going to get my money from, where am I going to get my food from, where am I going to get my shelter from, where am I going to... So all these things, they are attachments to the matrix. I know they're survival instincts, but your body is the planned net. The body is the net. It is the matrix. It's the biological computer, right? How can you go on a spiritual path if the body won't let you? Well, like Jesus says, you got to pick up your cross and follow me. You got to walk in the spirit, right? And that's not always so easy. So what I'm sharing with you is a system. It's called a purpose-based business, and you follow these rules that I'm going to share with you today, and you will inevitably be successful on that path. And since I've been following these rules, my YouTube channel, for example, has grown. Well, it's growing a lot faster, and my life is, I'm becoming more of an authoritative figure in my life. No one's controlling me, and I'm in control of my destiny. I'm in the driving seat now. And yeah, my purpose-based business is becoming more successful. I'm speaking to more people, I'm helping more people, and I'm creating vibrational relationships with people. And that is the future of business all over the world. It's through vibrational relationships, trust, and it's through your vibe attracts your tribe. So it's so important to set up your own voice. It's not only because of your survival needs and you've got to make money and all this, and not just because you've got to take the demi down, but because this is the way the world is heading. This is the way, it's all about trust. It's about forming bonds with people, and it's about you putting your message out, helping others, and establishing a new system in the world, one that is based on purpose and recovering the earth, recovering our relationships with our human family, and getting rid of those satanic slaughterhouses in the new earth, heaven on earth, which is what it should be, right? So this can happen. It seems like a tall order, but it only takes one of us to believe in this thing to create huge electrical change throughout the entire Earth system. And this is the new frequency that's coming through anyway, and there has to be one person to start it. And so we're starting it, right? We are the ones setting it up. So let's get into the 7 rules. So the number 1 rule for a purpose-based business is to practice what you preach. In any business, you have to practice before you go out there and put things out there, right? Like, for example, if you're trading, do day trading, trading forex currencies, all these things, you need to practice on the demo account before you go out and you start making live trades, right? So that you can be successful. Same with a basketball player, right? You have to practice basketball before you go out there and make, shots in the real game. And it's the same with any business. You need to practice. Even when I was cutting hair for a living, I had to practice that shit before I started actually doing it. But this is a purpose-based business, so it's thinking outside the box. It's not quite the same as everyone else because we're working with a new frequency that's coming through. And when you practice what you preach, meaning I don't just come up here and say things, I actually do what I say I'm going to do, and my whole life is then a ritual. Because think about it, everything is a ritual. Everything you do, you wake up, you go to the same job, you do this, you do that, it's all a ritual. We're going around in circles doing things all the time, but you got to think outside the box of that as well, because I'm not just going around in circles doing the same thing over and over again. The only one thing that I'm doing is I'm practicing what I'm preaching. I'm doing the same thing as what I say in my videos. And what this does is it opens a channel of information for new information to come up. Like I always say, your mess is your message. So I share what I'm doing, and my vibes attract my tribe. And this way I've got clarity, I've got confidence, because I'm speaking what I know and what I've experienced. I'm a master at what I know because it's my experience. If you know something to be true, then why do you doubt it? And the only way you can be successful is to teach what you know. You don't teach what you don't really know. You have to practice it until you know it, and then you can teach it. So the things that I teach, I practice in my day-to-day life. Right, and this opens up a stream of information. Now you've got ideas that can flow through you at all times. So number 1 is practice what you preach. And practice what you bloody do. Whatever it is that you do, make sure you practice. And practice makes perfect. Like, I make videos and I've been doing it for a long time, so I'm confident and I'm good at making videos now. Whatever you're doing, eventually you'll get better at it, for sure. If you are a singer, you got to practice singing. right? If you play the piano, you got to practice, right? And you got to become a master of what you do. What is a master anyway? If you look at the word, it's having or showing very great skill or proficiency. Having or showing a very great skill or proficiency. So the more you practice, the more you're going to become a master. There's no two ways about it. Number 2 is learn from your mistakes. You know, many people, you try something for ages and then people get caught up in doing the same thing over and over and over again because they haven't got analysis of their own mistakes. But then some people get caught up in analysis and paralysis. You've heard people say it before, right? You keep analyzing everything, and now you're caught in paralysis, and it's difficult for you to make the next moves, and then you feel like you've got so much to do that you end up doing nothing, and you get procrastinating. So my answer for you is to learn from your mistakes, right? If you keep learning from your mistakes, you cannot fail. But how can you learn from your mistakes if you're just committing to it by memory, right? What I'm saying is, get a notebook, and when you find out a mistake that you make or something, you can write it down. You know, rather than having to memorize it, write your mistakes down, and then you can tick them off once you've mastered it. After like 2 weeks of not doing that same mistake anymore, you've mastered it. What can I give you as an example? So a mistake I was making for ages is I was listening to my intuition and making videos really intuitively every day. I was making videos, and what I had to learn from this is that you have to professionalize to materialize. You also have to know what's going on, and you have to learn about the YouTube algorithms, etc., and all these sort of things. But then there's the other side of the coin, and many people are just doing all the searching the algorithms and finding out what's going to be the best niche and business idea to do, and then they're not listening to their intuition, and it's not coming from the heart, and then they don't manifest that way. Okay, so the third rule that you need to master in order to create a successful purpose-based business is you have to create a system. Right, so before you put out any content or put yourself out there or any ideas that you have on your purpose-based business, you need to create a system. So if you go back to one of my first ever videos here on Patreon, I done a video called Purpose-Based Business Planning, and it's actually a really good video. It's filled with a lot of information and value that will help you to set up a business. But that's not what I'm talking about. However, it is kind of related. What I'm talking about is every time you release any sort of content, you need to have a good system in place. So you need to have a step-by-step plan, right? And a plan, or this sort of system, is a combination of different things that come together to achieve a common goal. So for example, for me, what I do, I always have a good morning routine, right? No matter where I am, I always make sure I do some sort of physical exercise, and I have a good, breakfast. I get some juices in me, a healthy start to the day. I drink a lot of water. But not only that, when I am gonna put some content out there, I always start by thinking about what title of the video is gonna be, and then I think about the thumbnail, what I'm going to do for the thumbnail, what am I going to write in the thumbnail. Then I'll look at the tags of the videos, and I'll even go on vidIQ and look up the keyword inspector, and I'll see what keywords will help me with the algorithm, and I'll try and obviously do this around my video idea, my intuitive ideas that are coming through from the source, so that they get seen by more people. Obviously this is good for the Great Awakening, but it's also good for your purpose-based business, right? And I'll always this is always before I create the content. I'll look up the title, and I'll look for the tags, and I'll do the thumbnail, and I'll even think about what time I'm posting. On YouTube Studio, the app, you can actually see what when your audience is online and then, you know, most. So you obviously you can post when they're most online. But no matter where you're doing your content, no matter what purpose-based business you have, it's best to have a game plan before you go in, so that you're not wasting your time, right? This will eliminate waste from your life, right? So this moves me on to the next one. Okay, so number 4 is don't be afraid to change, right? Because spirituality is all about knowing yourself. So a purpose-based business, you might set something up and you think it's all great, it's all going well, and then it comes to an end because you have other ideas, or maybe it's not working. If something's not working, you've got to be willing to change, and you can't be so stubborn and set in your ways and have your ego so attached to it, right? Because it's not a diary, your purpose-based business, like uploading content. My YouTube channel is not a diary, it's not about me. I'm following the will of the source, so I'm detached from it. I'm just doing what I am guided to do. But sometimes you have to change things, and spirituality is about knowing yourself, right? So knowing yourself doesn't mean that you put yourself in a box, like, I'm Sam, I'm a YouTuber, and I'm a life coach, and all I do is spiritual awakening content, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. That's not what knowing thyself means. If anything, it means deleting the box. Knowing yourself means you try all different avenues, and then because if you try multiple things and you start other things and you try other things, and you know what you're doing is you're expanding your awareness. You're seeing what works and what doesn't work. For example, you know, when you're looking at tags, for me, I'm looking at tags on my YouTube videos and trying to find out what's going to get seen more, how can I grow my channel more, etc. You know, some of the things that I want to talk about doesn't always seem to have a good, the tags aren't always so good. The search volume might be very low and it's got high competition. So I have to think about it, right? How can I word it different, but I'm still giving the same message so that it works with the YouTube algorithms, etc. You know, and so sometimes I've tried many different keywords and I see what works and see what doesn't work. If something's not working, you know, for you, whatever it is that you're doing, then try something different, you know, try a different way of going about it. You got to up your game a bit, do some investigation. You know, if you're always improving and you're always ready to change, and it doesn't matter if you fail, but you'll continue to change. If you continue to grow, you're going to become a master, aren't you, eventually? So you got to be willing to lose at things, you got to be willing for things to go wrong, maybe for mistakes to happen. All of these things are just helping us to grow, and it's helping us to see what doesn't work, so we can eventually we'll be able to guide other people to a higher level also, you know. And remember, your mess is your message. So if things aren't working out, you've now got something that you can sell to someone, you know, a lesson you can give to someone, right? So you've always got to see the gems that are within failure. So don't be afraid to change things up all the time, right? Change is the only constant in the universe anyway. Number 5 is find a mentor. Did you know that learning on your own is the slowest way to grow? Yeah, you did. But our ego always thinks, you know, because we don't want to put the money up because it seems stupid. Why would I want to spend money if I can learn all this on my own and I know better? And all? We've always got these excuses, when really it's just so important to get a mentor, because they are going to have experience. They've already done the things. You can learn from their mistakes. So we're not just learning from our own mistakes, you can learn from theirs, and you can learn what helped them to grow. Yeah, so I always, for example, as well, when it comes to a mentor, who do you pick? Well, you don't have to pick. The source picks for you. Because when you are ready, the master shall appear. When the student is ready, the master will appear. And when the student is really ready, the master will disappear. So you already have a vibrational connection to people. So these are already your mentors, and my hat is off to you because you're already on my Patreon. You're already gaining all this new information. You've already put the money up to get this information, so you're on the right path as far as this goes with your purpose-based business. But yeah, don't be afraid to put the money up. I know sometimes people haven't always got the money for mentors, but like I always say, you've probably got things that aren't necessary on your path. So sell some things, get the money and do it. I've had to sell things in the past in order to make things work. There's always a solution. If you look around, there's always the answer you're looking for. The answer is always within reach. It's just, are you willing to take that leap of faith? Number 6, obviously 6 is a beautiful number and it has a lot of truth within this number. Because think about it, there's 666 is the mark of the beast, right? It's also the body. The body is primarily made out of carbon, which is 6 electrons, 6 neutrons and 6 protons. So 6 represents the flesh, and number 6 is discipline yourself, right? You've got to ask yourself, what is guiding you? Because we've got to have tunnel vision if we want to have success, right? But sometimes the demi basically can influence you. The body, the mind of the flesh even, is weak. You cannot be fulfilled in the lusts of the flesh. And so if you don't own your mind and your body, if you don't control yourself, then you're going to be controlled. If you don't control yourself, you're going to be controlled. If you don't judge yourself and listen to your conscience, so you're judging yourself with your conscience, you already know what the right decision to do in your life is, but then fear kicks in, and obviously danger is real, so you got to be wise, but then fear kicks in, and what we have to do to decipher what is facing your fears, really all about, is you have to think, is this the lusts of the flesh? What I'm thinking about right now, why I want to make these decisions in my life, is it that, or is it a true higher calling? So remember, it's spirit amongst flesh. That's why I always say that. It's a good reminder that to walk in the spirit. So you got to discipline yourself, and you got to control your flesh, basically. Right, you cannot be fulfilled in the lusts of the flesh. So what force is guiding you? If you discipline yourself, then you become truly rich. A lot of people think, discipline is a form of slavery because of the hustle culture out there, but really, discipline is freedom, and that's why most people don't have freedom on this planet, because they're not disciplined. Any successful person, you gotta discipline yourself, right? I'm putting out content every week, and I'm showing up. I'm still here, I'm grinding and shining. Remember, if you want to be successful, you gotta get grinding and shining. Number 7 is you gotta get rid of distractions, because the mind is volatile. It can be pulled around by your external environment, and the way the demiurge actually works is, if you don't control yourself, it will control you. And so you have to get rid of distractions, because the demiurge will hijack the minds of people around you, and it will distract you from your path, and they will start to control you slowly from making the decisions that you would have made if it wasn't for those people controlling you. So you got to remember that it's not always even just the demiurge and blaming it on something like that. What it is as well is that people just don't want the same things that you want, so they're going to try and say, oh no, why don't you just do this? It's not possible for you to do that, and you need more work-life balance. They're going to tell you all these things, but you got to get rid of distractions, right? You can't be around these people. It's going to be tough for you. You got to be the authority figure in your life. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, what is my path in life? You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Am I truly following my path? or am I distracted? And it's not just people, it's everything, right? Not everything you have in your life is needed, right? Sometimes we build a comfort zone around ourselves and we feel like we've made it because we're in this comfort zone. But not everything is needed. But what is needed is focus. You got to be focused on your path to maintain the guidance of the source. Many people feel disconnected from God, disconnected from guidance. Why? Because we're so distracted, we're not listening to our inspiration, we're not heeding the messages of our soul, we're not following the messages of our soul. And now people say things to you like, where are you? You're not here. Your body's here, but you're not here. That's because your soul is going elsewhere. It wants to do something else. And then you become a soulless one yourself because you're not present in your environment. And it's not just about being present, it's about following the guidance of the source. Very deep concept for you right there, but I'm sure you can figure out what I'm saying. You're only really going to be truly present and gain the true riches that I'm talking about if you go on the path that you know that you're supposed to be going on. Right, and this also eliminates waste. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, you're wasting your energy. The only real currencies are time and energy. But if you get them in check, everything else, all the other currencies will come to you anyway. Right, when you sort out your energy and you're not wasting your time, you've got a good system like we were talking about before, and you're following your heart, now your energy's in the right place. What you care about, you bring about, and now you're like an arrow at a target, and you just let go and flow, and you manifest everything. So I hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. Remember that your notebook is your best friend, so write things down. If you want to work with me, then grab a one-to-one session with me. I'll be ready and waiting to work with you. I'm excited about it, and this is what I love to do. So thank you for your continued love and support. Download my Warrior Subliminals from the link in the description. That will help you have the confidence to face your fears and go on this path. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you've been up to, how your purpose-based business is going. Have you started it? Are you thinking about it? Let me know in the comment section below. And what videos do you want to see here on Keys to the Kingdom? Do you want me to go into childhood trauma? Do you want me to talk about purpose-based business, shadow work? Do you want to talk more about the new earth? How to deal with the demiurge? What do you want to talk about? Let me know in the comment section. We've also got an end of the month Q&A video coming up soon, so let me know. With that being said, peace and love, my friends.